What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the show. As always, I'm your host, Sebastian Volkov, the God of Horror, and today I've got one of the most bizarre, most kind of brutal murders, self-inflicted unlifings, who the hell knows, that I've ever seen. It's aptly titled the Burari deaths, as it's so known. Uh, Again, following what we've been doing this last week, this is based in India. So, without further ado, let's get into the story. People all over the world enjoy a daily ritual of morning walks. It's a very common, very healthy way to start the morning, especially if you can enjoy a stroll with a friend or loved one. But what happens when you wake up, ready to face the day, and when going to meet your walking companion, they don't arrive? Do you shrug it off, assuming they overslept and continue your daily routine? Do you find someone else to walk with? Odds are you wouldn't immediately assume that something sinister, something unspeakable has happened. Right? Well, on the morning of July 1st, 2018, the morning walks of a Mr. Gersharan Singh would never be the same. When noticing that his neighbor and usual walking companion Lalit Chundawat wasn't waiting for him, Mr. Singh decided to see if everything was okay. The Chundawat family owned and operated a grocery store and plywood business in the area of Burari in Delhi. So, that was the obvious first place Mr. Singh decided to check on his friend. Upon arriving at 7:15 in the morning, it was obvious that the family had not opened their businesses, which were usually open around 5 or 5:30 in the morning. The Chundawats' businesses were part of their two-story home, so Mr. Singh approached the house and noticed that the front door was open. When entering the house, he was met with the horror of 10 bodies hanging from the mesh ceiling in the courtyard hallway. Seeing the horrific scene, Mr. Singh decided to call out to the neighbors, who then alerted the police, who arrived on scene about 15 minutes later at 7:30 in the morning. Officer Tomar, the first officer on the scene, stated, "In my career of 17 years so far, I've never seen a crime scene like this, and I hope I never have to again." He also says that it was shocking. "I stayed for only 10 to 15 seconds before rushing downstairs to call my seniors. At the time, I did not see whose hands were tied and whose eyes were covered. I just saw a lot of bodies hanging, just like the branches of a tree." According to the police and crime scene photos that obviously can't show, there were a total of 11 bodies in the home. 10 were hanging, as Mr. Singh had found, and an 11th person, Narayani Devi, in another room, apparently strangled, unlike the other 10 members of the family. So yes, it was all like an entire family. Now, for those of you who may be watching this on YouTube, I'm going to bring up a picture. So for those of you listening to the podcast, you can just, listen to the names as I tell you who the people are. Now, starting from the top left, you have Bhavnesh, and then Savita, Dhruv in the black shirt, kind of in the middle. He was underage, so his face is blurred. Lalit with the fancy man mustache. Shivam, also blurred out because he was also underage. I think they were both 15. Tina and Priyanka. At the bottom left, we start with Maneka, Nitu, Narayan Devi, the one that was found strangled, the eldest of the family and mother of Lalit with the mustache, and then Pratibha. And that's everyone that was found. The police reported that those who were hanging were blindfolded and that their mouths were taped shut, and that some of the bodies had their hands and feet tied as well. Their faces were wrapped in cloth, partially, some completely, and it was supposedly cut from a single bed sheet, and that their ears were plugged with cotton. There were 5 stools that are believed were shared by the 10 found hanging, so they obviously didn't, die at the same time. In addition to the family dog Tommy was found, thankfully alive and chained to the terrace. He reportedly had a high fever when he was found, but was taken to a place known as Nodia's House of Stray Animals, and seemed to have recovered well, but unfortunately died from cardiac arrest after a walk shortly after everything happened. That pisses me off. I care more about the dog dying, and I'm probably going to get some hate for that, but it's a dog. Dogs are special. But if you think shit is weird at this point, well, it's about to get even more weird. The police initially reported the case as a mass homicide, but after some investigating, they uncovered 11 diaries in the house that had each been kept up with for 11 years, supposedly. 11 years, 11 diaries, 11 bodies. Suspicion has arisen. The police commissioner, Alok Kumar, told reporters, "We have found handwritten notes detailing how hands and feet are to be tied, and are quite similar to the manner in which the bodies of 10 persons were found. They are exhaustive notes, and we're studying them." The diaries that were found went into details that described how the bodies were found: faces covered, mouths taped, ears stuffed with cotton balls. It also detailed how that the bebe, or elderly woman, couldn't stand and should be laying on the bed, which is supposedly where they found Narayani strangled in the other room. I've seen reports of her lying on a bed, others of her being on the floor. It's conflicting. But we do know that she was not hanging like the rest. But sounds like with all the matching diaries and everything that this was a ritual. That everyone had decided to do it together, right? Well, according to the diary, quote, "Everyone will tie their own hands, and when the Kriya ritual is done, then everyone will help each other untie their hands." So they weren't expecting to die? I mean, everyone was just expecting to be completely bound and hanging and Houdini out of it and help each other out. That's not 100%. You don't know if that's what they actually believed or not, but it is one line of thought. Now, according to handwriting analysis, the 11 diaries were written entirely by Priyanka and Neetu. the daughters of Pratibha and Bhuvnesh. But they were supposed to be dictated to Lalit by his deceased father's spirit. And Lalita had apparently told the family that the soul of Narayani's husband and his father had entered his body so that he could get the family to follow him, possibly into the afterlife. To make things a little more obvious, Narayani's husband, Bhopal Singh, had passed away in 2007, 11 years earlier. Note that this is the fourth time the number 11 has shown up in this story. Upon his passing, Lalita had reportedly become more of an introvert, and one day told the family he was possessed by his father and was instructing him on how to attain the good life by performing autopsia. I think I pronounced it right, maybe not. It's translated banyan tree worship, hence the hanging of the family, like tree branches. While psychologists believe that this was all part of some group delusion that caused the family to follow Lalit's twisted mental state, police believe that Lalit was the mastermind of the whole thing, and the crime branch came to the conclusion that it was Lalit and his wife, Tina, that were the ones who tied everyone's hands and feet. An entirely different scenario was believed by another family member of the Chundawats who lives out of town. They believe that it was a well-planned murder and not something done by the family. They believe that if it had been Lalit and his wife who had done the deed, then their hands wouldn't have been tied. Which, I can kind of understand that. You don't expect someone who's going to do it to bind themselves and get up there and but it is possible. I know it's possible. You see a lot of weird, sick things out there in the world. But again, I'm obviously not going to show the crime scene photos here, for obvious reasons. But you can definitely find them on your own if you want to. I'm not going to push that. But what do you think? Was this some random psychotic genius who figured out how to pull off the murder of 11 people? 10 of which were all found practically against each other. Because if you are, again, watching on ye old YouTubies, up in the top left, it kind of shows the position that they were found in, and that still doesn't even look as close as they actually were in photos. Or was it the very convincing Lalit and his wife who did the deed? Hell, do you have another theory to throw out there? I'm actually more than interested to know any theories that could arise, or anyone who may have been there who might know something that we don't, something that wasn't reported. But me, yeah, I'm not buying that some brilliant sadistic person with superhuman strength came in and took out 11 people and made it look like there wasn't a struggle. I'm completely banking on this being, honestly, a complete manipulation. That's the only way I can really see this playing out. But, again, what do you think? Let me know wherever you can in the comments. I pooped out my background. Well, this has been the case of the Burari deaths. Stay tuned for more spoopy things backcountry we'll be returning tomorrow with some Indonesian spoops. Until next time, I'm Sebastian Volkov, the God of Horror. Bye-bye.